Hi guys. The UK put out its autumn statement just a little while ago, and while I normally don't cover financial statements, I genuinely thought this one was important, especially because of the financial times that we're in, and to be really honest, because it plays a big decision in whether you should move to the UK or not. So in today's video, we're talking about what financial changes have taken place and how they're going to impact you, especially if you're considering moving to the UK. If you're new to my channel, my name is Ashika, and on this channel we talk about moving to the UK, Germany, and a lot of other countries. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, hit it now and click on the bell icon for notifications. Okay, let's start off with the most important piece of information. Jeremy Hunt, the Chancellor of the UK, officially announced that the UK is in recession and things are going to get a little worse before they get better. And if you're wondering if it's just the UK in recession, the IMF has predicted that 1/3 of the world's economy will be in recession by this year or next year. I'm actually going to give you a highlight of only the things that were discussed that are important to you, people from outside the UK who are looking to move to the UK, and we're not going to cover everything that was discussed in the autumn statement. Starting off with taxes and wages. Taxes are set to be the highest they've ever been in the past 70 years. The threshold for when the highest earners start paying the top rate of income tax will be brought down from £150,000 to £125,000 and £140. Earlier, the highest bracket of 45% of tax came into effect for earnings more than £150,000. But now, any earnings above £125,000 will automatically be taxed at 45%, so you're effectively paying more tax if you earn more than £125,000. This means the highest paid could pay hundreds of pounds more a year in income tax. Income tax, personal allowance, and higher rate thresholds will be frozen for a further 2 years until April 2028, because initially it was supposed to be till April 2026, which means as your income rises over the next few years, you will effectively pay more taxes. Even if that doesn't happen immediately, it will almost certainly mean that a greater portion of your income will be taxed. Some good news, however, is that the national living wage will be increased from £9.5 an hour for over 23-year-olds to £10.42 an hour from April next year. So if you plan on doing part-time jobs as students or in your spare time if your visa allows it, you'll earn more. The dividend allowance, which is basically the amount you can receive each year in dividends if you own shares before paying tax, will be cut from £2,000 to £1,000 next year, and then £500 from April 2024. So you'll effectively pay more tax here as well. At present, there's a government cap on domestic energy bills known as the Energy Price Guarantee. It means that since October, households using a typical amount of gas and electricity would pay £2,500 a year. Now, the cap was due to expire in April, leaving the prospect of a typical annual bill going up to £3,700 a year. Jeremy Hunt said that this cap would be extended for a further 12 months, but it would be a little less generous now, so the typical household would now look at paying £3,000 a year instead of £3,700. But still, it would mean an increase from £2,500. The NHS budget will increase in each of the next 2 years by an extra £3.3 billion, which hopefully means paying the staff better, because like you've probably been hearing, the nurses have declared a strike later this year because of poor pay, and it also hopefully also means more hiring, which means reduced waiting time at healthcare services. Schools are also slated to get an extra £2.3 billion next year and the year after. One of the other points Jeremy Hunt mentioned was that the government will cap the increase in social rents in England at a maximum of 7% in 2023-2024, rather than 11% potential rise under previous rules, which is great because most of you who move to the UK will rent initially. Apart from this, councils in England must also hold a referendum if they want to increase council tax by more than 3%. But the Chancellor said that he would raise this to 5%. The next update was in terms of council tax, which is the council tax you will pay to your borough for living in a particular borough. And it is expected that Band D council tax bills will rise by at least £250 a year from next year. So all in all, living in the UK, which was already expensive, is going to get a lot more expensive. And if you are making a decent amount of money in the UK, well, be prepared to lose a lot more of it in the form of taxes now. Which brings me to the question whether it even makes sense to move to the UK right now for you. Well, if you have doubts, like most people do, about this, and you need help making that decision, I highly recommend you watch this video.